Okay, good morning, everyone, and good afternoon here. I'm Steve. I'm going to talk about the topic outdoors lighting application. So bear with me. I'm going to give you some idea, some few knowledge about the outdoors lighting application. So our topic for today is about I will start with the introduction and how to determine illumination standards for values in each spaces, design issues affecting outdoors lighting, and also the product range and application. So let me start with introduction. Why do we need artificial lighting? Actually, when I say artificial lighting, good quality of artificial lighting, because during the daytime we have a vast energy coming from sun, including the conditions of sky, whether it is cloudy, overcast, or clear sky. So, with this brightness of the sun coming from the sun, and with the light coming from the sun, which is good energy that we harness, we were able to see the objects surrounding us, especially the buildings, the structure, the form structure, uh, the people who are using the space, and also we could easily identify the obstruction ahead or any dangers ahead. Uh, it can highlight some of the features, architectural features. But as the days goes by and the times goes on, it will keep on dark until we find totally black. So that's why we need a good artificial lighting. When I said good artificial lighting, of course, with good quality, probably with good CRI, with proper design, luminous spacing, pole heights, and also with the proper wattage to make it more economical. And at the same time, we want to imply here that during the nighttime, probably it could be more outstanding, more like the effect of the lighting, especially in structures. It gives us also a good circulations, illuminations level, and also what we after here as well is the safety of the people who are using the space. We could easily identify any obstacles ahead, or probably we can deter the crime. So this is the importance of the artificial lighting during the nighttime. And of course, as I've said, it could be like good artificial lighting, because bad artificial lighting, it could not give you the good CRI, the color rendering index, which you cannot also poorly identify what's the good color, or probably also if not properly designed, also not proper illumination level, the area would be dark, or would be not so outstanding. Aside from that, like for the impact also in the architectural ornaments, if we don't design properly, we don't give a uh, proper considerations, what to highlight, probably it's a boring, especially for architectural, if you want to highlight facades. And also we need to play with lighting and colors as well. So this is why artificial lighting is very important. So we go with how to determine the illumination standards for various spaces. So this is also very important because we need to know proper illumination level in order that probably we can maximize our design, and it could be more economical instead of or under design, or over design. So as we know, give you some idea also, the quantity of light required for good visions depends on the factors like age, the speed, the accuracy, and also the reflect stance of the task. As the younger age, probably more brighter looks, how he perceive light is much more brighter compared to the older age. So this is important, and that's why we need to have reference. We need to have a proper design, especially in outdoors. We should follow these standards. So actually, we have so many reference that we can have. We have the lighting uh, planning with the IES, or probably with the BIS, with the CIBC requirements. We should follow that one for exterior environment. Actually, when you are getting old, also you are susceptible for older eyes, more sensitive to glare, and also less brightness that we experience compared to the younger one. So as I mentioned, we need to follow the proper illumination level in outdoors in order it will deter also crimes and also safety circulations, and at the same time probably not over design. And we need to make it sure that we consider also the energy that we are using every that we will be paying every month. So if we don't follow, we just only let's say make some assumptions, it will end up sometimes dark surroundings or probably more power that we're going to pay end of the month. So here we have various we have various standards that we can follow in order to make our design more efficient and at the same time more energy saving. So also, as I mentioned, we can have the books, or also if you are using the software like Dialog software, you can open the Dialog software, and under the settings, you can find the different standards on the each area that you want to specify. So these are the things that we need to consider also in outdoors applications for lighting design. Okay, so we go with the design issue affecting outdoors lighting design. So actually, there's a lots of factors that we need to consider when we are designing. So number one, probably in order to have a good blending of luminaire in space, we need to consider about the appearance of space and luminaire. In the preceding slides, I will explain more further. For color appearance and color contrast, we need also to take account about this issue, and also, of course, the direct glare, because glare also is very important to consider in the outdoors lighting. Also, the illuminance, horizontal illuminance, and also the vertical illuminance. We should also to need to consider that one and give more emphasis. And lighting distributions on surfaces, and of course, like light pollution, stress pass, and modeling of faces or objects. And the last one is the point of interest. So when we go along with, for example, I created one applications projects that we can more understand all the factors that affecting the outdoors lighting. So here we have the roadway lighting, which we also done some calculations, and also the parking area, and at the same time, there are some points of interest that we need to highlight. And probably there's some pathway as well, and also facades lighting. So all of this one, when we do the analysis, we considered all these factors that affecting the outdoors lighting. So what is these factors? As I mentioned, appearance of space and luminaire. So when we do the design, we need to evaluate properly whether the architecture is a modern style or probably classic or contemporary. Then we can choose the right shapes or right applications or distributions of lighting that it will like blend with the surroundings. If you are like have a modern building, of course you're gonna use probably a modern lighting design fixtures as well. The shapes and the forms very important in order to blend with the architecture. And also at the same time, the arrangement is very important. So we need to make it sure that it will not have any obstructions to the circulation area. Spacing is very important, and also the mounting height in order also to evaluate proper wattage and the coverage of illuminations. And at the same time, for the locations, it will also give us some probably more outstanding circulation path to follow, like orientations lighting. So these are all the things that we need to consider: the appearance of space and the luminaires. And next is the color appearance and contrast. So color appearance and contrast is very important as well. So we need to make it sure that we need to blend together. For example, with these applications with the picture that you saw, for indoor, we designed the 4000K, and for outdoors, we have also we proposed the 3000K. And at the same time, the way we highlight the tree, we created two color combinations in order to create appealing appearance and also more like more eye catching. So regarding this to you, how we highlight, we use the two color temperature using filters. So we use the amber filter and with the green filter to create some variations of color on the tree. And at the same time on the building, of course, we need to have like more captivating looks. Also, as I mentioned, we need to have like color appearance and contrast. So the surroundings is dark with the color temperatures as indoor is 4000 K and outdoors we use as 3000 K. And at the same time, we choose also to highlight this window with a blue color. That creates also a contrast. So it's quite outstanding. You know, it's like eye captivating. It's easily get like seen right away because of the color difference between from color temperature of 4000 to 3000. Then here you go the blue color. So this is why we follow some considerations between color and appearance and contrast. So next is the direct glare. This is one of the dilemma when we are designing the outdoor lighting fixtures. We should know the proper distributions, probably below 60 degrees, that it doesn't give more than 60 degrees the distributions in order to limit the glare. Like for flood lighting, when you design the area lighting or flood lighting area, you need to limit the maximum tilt below 60 degrees. Otherwise, it will like create some glare. Street lighting as well is very important when you specify the proper distributions. Of course, it depends on the wattage. So the higher the wattage, probably the more mounting height or the higher mounting height that you're going to specify. Otherwise, you will end up a very strong intensity of light that will throw by the luminaire. So direct glare is very important. You have the disability glare that you will experience, also discomfort glare, and all of these things is not really recommended for outdoors lighting if you need to, if you need to design a proper design, if you need to achieve proper outdoors lighting, we should follow also some of these factors. We should sorry that we should consider some factors affecting the outdoors lighting design. So direct glare is one of the important that we need to take into considerations. Next is the proper horizontal illuminance. So how do we evaluate this? As I mentioned, we have standards. We have standards to follow in order to give a proper illuminance in a certain space. So this is very important. Like for example, for public spaces, you need at least about 5 lakhs minimum for the circulations. For resorts, if you're designing resorts, probably horizontal illuminance is not really important. So, but mostly when you are dealing with public areas, you need to consider a proper illumination level. And also, in order also to make it sure that you can specify a correct wattage and also correct distributions. Otherwise, if you just only make some assumptions basing from the past projects or basing from other luminaire that been used in this space, so it will end up is not like a cost-effective one. In order to make it sure that the illumination level is within the standard, and also one of our after here is just for the energy saving. So horizontal illuminance is very important when we do the outdoors lighting design. Next is the illuminance in the vertical. Normally for vertical luminance, this is like more on the considerations like, the vertical surface that you need to highlight properly. This is really important, especially when you are considering about the security issues on the surroundings. So proper vertical illuminance, it will gives us more like a safer environment or safer space that we can roam around. Also, like for sculptures, like probably for signage, you need a proper vertical illuminance as well in order to properly read out or probably you can to transmit the message or advertising properly. So we need to make it sure that we also consider vertical illuminations. Like for example, for parking area, in order to capture a good uh, vertical illuminance, also with the modern technology, highly high depth CCTV, you need at least about average of 20 lux vertical illuminance. So basing from the experience, we did couple of projects that in order to to have a good capture of CCTV, so we need to make sure that our average luminance is about 20 lux. So again, vertical luminance is an issue that we need to consider. Lighting distributions on surfaces. So these are all like outdoors applications, especially for luminaires, not only for the shapes, forms, and the wattage, but also the we need to consider the proper lighting distributions. Like for street lighting, we have so many types like T1, T2, T3, T4. So these are all the things that we need to consider. We have medium beam, wide beam, or probably extra wide beam. So in order to determine a proper distributions of light, we need to read out the photometric data or the polar curve. Then we can decide how many wattages, how much wattages that we're going to specify, what kind of distributions that we can highlight a certain space, and also not only for like more on the numerical value, like I've said, probably like in resorts or some spaces that doesn't really require considerations of proper illuminations, we will make it as a guideline or as a orientation lighting. So we can play using the different distributions. For us, we have narrow, medium, wide, and even have elliptical distributions. So distributions and surfaces is very important when it comes to outdoors lighting design. Light pollutions and trespass. Nowadays, people are like more considering when they are designing about the outdoors, especially the dark sky appearance. So actually, for dark sky, like for obtrusive light limitations, we have actually standards that we need to follow. For example, for environmental zone zero, it depends on the zone that you've been situated. So if you're zone all of these ones like zero, there will be no upward light ratio. And for like E1, you have also sky glow, maximum of zero, but pre-curfew you have 2 lux vertical, and also you have like post-curfew, you have 500 candelas and average of 5 candela per square meter. So these are the things that you need to consider. And I think the most critical thing, if you install your, like for example, your street light or probably your pole light or your post lamp, which is near the residential area, it's very annoying, or you probably have some issue later on with the people occupying the space. You are giving him the like depriving a deep sleep. In order to sleep well, I think we need zero visibility in order to calmly down sleep. So the moment that the light coming from the street light is going inside the window, it will have an issue later on to the people who are using this space. And aside from that, we need to make it sure that the light is in a purpose. It will pulse to the area of applications that need to be lit, not going inside to the window. This one it will affect also the circadian rhythm of a certain individual. Like the body clock will change if you deprive the way they sleep because of the light that intrudes into the window. So we need to consider properly as well. Again, this is again pose the proper distributions of light that we need to specify, and also the setback. That's why we have also this design criteria using the bug rating. So bug rating actually is like the amount of light wasted in a various directions. Like when you say B, okay, stands for the backlit. So the light that going backward, that one is we call B, and the light that going upward, we call that one is designated by U, which is uplight. So like also like light pollutions, we need to make it sure that we don't also waste light throwing on the surface or in the air without any purpose. Also glare, G stands for the glare. So glare also, we need to control the glare in order to make it more convenient to people who are using the space. And all of this like bug rating, actually in Unilamp right now, we try to include in our data all the like for applications for the area lighting or street lighting or post stops. We need to include the bug rating or the bug rating of each distributions as well. So if you encounter that you didn't see the bug rating, please email to us and inform us if you needed this data, so we can provide you. So modeling of spaces and objects. Actually, lighting is very more artistic. Not only will reveal the depth, shape, and the textures of objects. So we need to make sure that when we have like considering about the design outdoors, not only for like in illuminations intentions, but also we need to make it sure also that it will have as well as aesthetic design in order it will not be boring. So here is one of the applications that we show you. We did some simulations to explain. For example, we have some monuments there that you need to read properly. So you need to make it sure that the vertical illuminance is properly well, not the contrast as well, not so bright that it will like have some reflected effect. Glare. It will have also the reflected glare. Also, this is like the guideline like for example the people who are sitting here on a certain area or in certain locations, how could you make it sure that that guy is a good guy or bad guy? So the locations of the fixtures is also very important, and also it will serve as some applications, probably sitting here with reading some newspaper while waiting for someone. It could be have its possibility, so you need to make it sure the modeling of faces probably is very important, especially also in the parking area. Most of the crime it happens in the parking area, in the dark surroundings, especially in parking area. So making sure that this is properly highlighted, so you can easily determine the facial looks of a certain individual. So another issue again, we need to make sure that we have a proper distributions of lighting and proper illumination. Aside from that, this is one of the good example. We want to have people who are going to that place when they coming back home or after visiting, they will gain experience. They will. That's why we need to make it sure all these architectural ornaments, probably monuments, probably landscapings, we give emphasis. Buildings as well. Probably we have to design the building nicely, even though like a simple building is like a box building. How we're going to highlight it? So we need to have to make it sure that we highlight properly in order that they will gain experience after visiting a place. Okay. Structures. This is one of the point interest. Very careful also when you highlight sculptures because it gives a different message. So probably highlighting in the parts that not really intended. Okay, the parts that are really intended for lighting, it will cause some bad feedback. So highlighting sculptures is very important. You need to determine properly the uh, right angle, correct beam distributions in order it will not pollute also, and also will create the light pollutions. Okay. So point of interest, you need to consider also in order to make the project more motivating and probably gain more experience with the people try to visit this place. Lastly, what are the product range and applications that we have? I think Unilamp, we almost covered all the applications for outdoors lighting. All we have to do is just to know where to apply it. We have the window lights, which we newly launched this month, and also we have projectors. We have so many projectors, beams, distributions, underwater as well. We have various range size of underwater wall lamp with different combinations of beams and also with distributions. wall surface mounted down to the accent lighting. So all of this one are in our range, which is really applicable for outdoors lighting design. So all of that luminaire that we manufacture, actually, it is good for outdoors lighting. So we can design landscaping, probably more dramatic effect, and we can do some combinations out of the range that we have. Also, like for example, all buildings, how do we design all buildings? What luminaire that necessarily to highlight the old buildings, historical buildings. So in our portfolio, I think we covered all these applications. All you have to do is just to evaluate. If you think also you need our advices, or maybe we can guide you what the proper concept if you don't have involved. If there's no lighting consultant involved, then we can help you also for the design. For example, this old church as well, how you're going to highlight it, maybe using also with color and contrast. Like for example, this church we highlight on the podium is a 3,000 K. On the upper podium is on the is 4,000 K. So what is my intentions when I highlight this one, this church actually? I just want to create from hell to heaven. A little bit warm is hell, then you go up, it's heaven. So this is how I interpret the design using the churches. So also this is like a modern building for urban lighting. We have designed properly, proper illumination level on pedestrians, street lighting, and at the same time we can do probably evaluations on the facades. So you have probably a busy streets here, but the facades is dark. So probably we can give more recommendations. And aside from that, as I've said, we covered all the applications for resorts. Resorts, you don't need to be like more specific when it comes to illumination level. Probably resorts is more on the relaxing atmosphere. So probably more on the accent lighting. But of course, you need to highlight those landmarks that signify these resorts as well. That makes this more resort, more experience after you visited. Sculptures, as I mentioned, when we highlight sculptures, we need to make it sure that we really emphasize the sculptures that gives more symbolic. So it's up to us, or it's up to the designer how he interpret the sculpture and how he study the form and shape of the sculpture, and the proper beam angles, color temperatures will be subject for also for considerations. So all of that one is under the design applications for outdoors lighting. So that's all for today. I don't want to make it more longer. Maybe next time we have to make another topic for if you have any topics in mind. But at the moment, this is the topic that I need to share with you. Then, if you have any questions, we will answer some questions here. How do you decide the most suitable color temperature and beam angle when designing a scheme? This is very subjective. So normally we need to study the architecture, forms, and shape. And at the same time, for color temperature, it depends also the color of the object or the building. So then, mostly for outdoors, actually, they prefer to have a warm color. But it depends if this is like more commercial side, probably, or like for example, more government offices. Uh, so probably we will decide more on the 4,000 K. But mostly for resorts or some like modern building also, probably we need to consider the 3,000 K. For beam angle, yeah, it depends actually. There are so many elements that we need to consider when we design the beam angles. So normally beam angles is very subjective also. What 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 architectural ornaments that we need to highlight. So probably column, for example, for high column, but not so huge. Probably we can use a narrow beam in order the light will not spread if we want to highlight columns. Like for example, you highlight windows, so we need to use also some window light. It depends also how the structure of the window, whether it is possible or not. So for like facade lighting, it depends also if you want to highlight only some ornaments or some architectural ornaments. Probably you have to pick a very specific angle, like medium or narrow. But if you want to flood the whole facades, probably you need to use the very wide beam facades also. But of course, as I've said, depends on the shape and form. Do you find different color preference in different parts of the world? Mostly for Europe, I think they like to use the warm color because you have snow there, so they prefer to have the warm. Some like city hall buildings, I saw they have more prefer to have the 4000K. Okay, wall was a linear from wall offset. This is normally for wall was a linear wall offset. It depends also on the beam. For example, if you want to brace the wall, probably you set back about zero point 0.5, no, no, sorry, 0.15 meters using the wide beam or with a narrow beam or medium beam. But if you want to wash the wall, you need to set back a long setback, maybe from zero point 0.5 to 1 meter. So you are using the asymmetrical beam. There are any emerging trends of technologies in outdoor lighting that you find particularly exciting or challenging? Normally the IoT, right? This is the more technologies right now. They are more on the energy saving and also like they want to control the lighting. They want to monitor all these energy saving what how much that they will expend every month, and probably they will do the scheduling in order to save more energy. So you need to have controls. You need to have sensors that you need to install in the lighting. You need to integrate into the lighting fixtures. Not only for probably not only will limit on the area lighting or street lighting, but probably some of the like wall luminaires that sometimes there are not much occupancy, or even in the bollards as well. You can also use some microwave sensor or PIR sensor. What is the opinion about 3,000 pay trending? Yes. 3,500. Normally, if I can have 3,000, why I would go to 3,500. It depends on the preference of each lighting designer. Mostly some lighting designer, because I've been in their foot as well for before. They want to create something different from the other design. So instead of using the 4,000 or 3,000, they will go in between. So 3,500 for me. I'm not sure really, but I prefer to have each other 3,000. It depends on the architecture that I need to design. And we need to evaluate properly the applications as well, whether we have to go for 3,500 or 3,000 or 4,000. Other picture shown here abstracted from dialogues calculations. Yes, yes. The one most of the picture that I've done is normally using the dialogues. So actually, we have a lots of reference projects that we have done this in dialogues. But if you want, you just email me. I can send you. The CRI 90 necessary for outdoor lighting. If you ask me, is all this marketing? Outdoors, probably 80 plus 80% plus is already acceptable. The CRI 90 probably is more necessary in the indoor applications. Like for example, you want to highlight merchandise, or probably you are in a museum that you need to have a bright color for a certain object. Outdoors is very subjective. And I think you can see also like outdoors, lots of things that you need to consider. You have the street lighting, maybe that ones are less than 80% CRI. And also like if you want to have the wall features, you want to highlight it properly to get more nicer, good looks or real textures of temperature. You need to highlight. I think 85 is okay. It's already considered. 90 actually the people why they prefer to have the 90 because the moment that they saw the color rendering index of 90 in indoor, they want to replicate that one in outdoor. So they cannot really accept that the difference between the 90 and 80. But we need also to consider, we need also to compromise the moment that we do for the 90 for outdoors, we will be limiting the lumen package of the LED. So we will drop probably around 15 to 20% lumen package because of the binning. Do you have any guidelines for underwater lighting for swimming pools? Uh, yes, we have guidelines not only basing from the book but also with the experience. For example, I give you some idea. Before we used to calculate using the conventional lamp. So when you have the conventional lamp, you have certain wattage or lumens that they give you for a certain size of a swimming pool. But now LED, right? You need to make it that one more half than the conventional, and also the locations of the, for example, in the swimming pool, what the best locations for the luminaire to be relocated or installed in the swimming pool. We always use like center of the water level. For example, your water level from the lower level of the floor is let's say from the floor to the water level is around 1 meter. So you need to install the luminaire or the underwater about zero point 0.5 from the floor. So in order to catch up the light on the lower level, not so strong, and also to catch up the light as well on the upper level of the water. If you intend to make it more, don't like to see that the ground surrounding of the or the floor surrounding of swimming pool is too shiny because the moment that you swim probably cause also the glare. So if too much deep depth of the distance coming below, it will cause also like the light also on the top of the water is not really bright. So the best way you need to put it center of the water level. And for steps, I think it's very subjective. It depends on the steps as well, the shape of the steps for swimming pool, and mostly for fountains. This is more on the aesthetic design. So it's more on the imagination. You need to imagine how you're going to highlight. If you watch Barney when you were small, I think you have a good imaginations. So Barney is very important as well when you do the design. And also for the swimming pool also, the directions of light should not be on the directions of the people who do the swimming or do the lapping. So it should be on the side in order it will not cause glare. So thank you very much. I think for time being, this will be our topic for today. And if you have more topics that you want to email us, then we will create for you. So thank you and a good week this week. See you again.